We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, and now in Albuquerque, New Mexico on 1000 KKIM. Our guest by phone for the entire hour is Orlean Koehle, the president of Eagle Forum of California and the founder and director of Californians United Against Common Core.
You know, Arlene, our show has been pretty attractive to a lot of people because we talk about people, politics, and business, and we really have a big variety of people that we meet with, authors, entertainers. It's just amazing. And then we had Nomi on last week, and now we have you on this week. I'm scared to death. I'm just glad I'm on the downside of life, and I think Obama's probably happy about that too.
It is very frightening. I'm mainly concerned because I have 6 grandchildren. Virtually all my children are raised and even out of the universities now, but I'm very concerned about my grandchildren coming up.
And, you know, Orlean, when you look at Clay, you can tell that he's on the downside of life. That was too easy, Clay. I couldn't resist.
I know. Overweight. What do I say? Old, fat, and tired, but I'm working on the age part.
But what are you going to do about the ugly?
I know. Some things you can't change.
You got to swing at the low pitches. So, you know, it's funny. I've never been much of a world government kind of person, you know, but the 3.5 years, 4 years we've been doing this show, it keeps on staring me in the face more and more, and I keep on seeing things that make me realize that a lot of people I relied on and depended on, like, say, for example, Bush Sr., you know, we're all for this one world government, and things like this lead us in that direction. And that's a scary proposition. Do you see this as part of the one world government movement?
Definitely, and you'll find out by reading my book that Common Core is not just a national program. This is international. It is being promoted in 70 other nations because of a man by the name of Sir Michael Barber, who is a British subject who was knighted by Queen Elizabeth for his big changes that he made in English education, but really brought down their literacy rates, just exactly what Common Core will be doing as well. Anyway, he works for a company called the Pearson Foundation, which is essentially the largest publishing company in the world, if they don't already have a monopoly. They have taken over every education publishing company, 100 education publishing companies. They just let them keep their own name, so you don't know that Pearson owns them all. They also have taken over just about every fiction and nonfiction publishing company. Like Penguin, they use Penguin as a pseudonym as they take over all these other companies. But Sir Michael Barber works for them. They have offices in 70 other countries, 36,000 employees, and he goes to these other countries and promotes Common Core through a book that he wrote called Deliverology 101 that essentially teaches people how they can deliver Common Core into the classroom. And so that's why this is really international. He totally believes in the United Nations. He believes that our children are to be world citizens. They should not have any respect for sovereignty. He believes in open borders, and that's what he essentially teaches. So our children, if they follow his formula, will think of themselves as earth-worshipping world citizens and no longer as specific citizens of any one country.
You know, you said that government has common goals as far as the education is concerned and several other issues, yet governments continue to try to destroy each other with wars and with terrorism. It just doesn't seem to go together, and it would seem immediately that Common Core would be a good step in that direction.
Well, that's the excuse they will give, that if we all have this amazing worldwide commonality in our education, we'll have better able to establish peace and better able to establish essentially a one-world government, which is their goal from the get-go. But one of the interesting formulas that Sir Michael Barber gives in his book, he really thinks of our children as little robots, as human capital, and that they should all have the sameness of standards, the sameness of their curriculum, so they will all come out just the same little cookie-cutter design. It's like he's talking about developing some kind of a steel product. And that's also what is interesting when you read the book that has come out from our federal government, U.S. Department of Education. Office of Educational Technology. It's called Promoting Grit, Tenacity, and Perseverance. And this is the most amazing book that gives all sorts of information about the data collection. And one of the pages they show on page 40 shows what the children will be doing when they're taking their big assessment tests coming next year. The mouse that they're holding on to as they're taking their test online, everything will be done with a computer. The mouse will be testing their stress level. Even the chair they're sitting in will be testing their stress level. There will be a camera focused on their face through the computer, and that will be recording all their facial expressions. And on their left wrist will be a wristband testing their pulse. Oh. And this is what you would be doing if you're testing steel or something else, going through some amazing process of refinement. But they're testing for grit, tenacity, and perseverance.
Scary.
This will just be one more of their amazing data collection devices and lists for future employment, or who knows what they will be using that data for.
Mm-hmm. We're having a conversation with Orlean Koehle, the president of Eagle Forum of California and the founder and director of Californians United Against Common Core.
That's what you talked about there on the kids being tested. That's an example of deciding whether the kids are going to go into become a janitor, a garbage collector, an executive, or what they're going to be doing. Car salesman. This is going to determine their life, and unfortunately, you can't do this in society and have people be successful.
Sounds like Nazi Germany.
And that's exactly what Nazi Germany did. They used the data they were collecting on their students to determine their occupation. They had no freedom to decide what their job would be. It was decided for them. And that's what we're so afraid this data will be used.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, when you look on their website, the Common Core website, I was looking at the math classes, and so much of it is involved in social justice and not involved in math.
Exactly. Social justice is just rampant throughout every aspect of Common Core. Teachers are being trained how to use math for social justice to help better prepare their children for an unjust world. And when you realize the true definition of social justice, it is redistribution of wealth. It is taking from those who have and giving to those who have not. And it's not equal justice. It's also preparing our children to think of themselves as belonging to a commonality, that they are no longer individuals, that they're just part of the well, it's really communism when you realize the whole full sense of the word.
Yeah. Orlean, we've only got 2 minutes left. Would you believe we've had you the whole hour and we're still going to run out of time? But two things we want to cover. First is we've got you coming June 3rd at Hodell's, 6 o'clock. And you can either call 661-301-2396 or look online at Act Bakersfield and actbakersfield@mail.com. And the second thing we want to talk to you a little bit about in the last minute and a half we have left is the UN Agenda 21. What is it?
Well, this is a global, amazing program that was started in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro. And it used to be, if you went to their website, they spelled out their mission statement, but it was so scary, I don't think it's there anymore. But it essentially said that every aspect of the environment in which humanity interacts must be under their control. And when you realize every aspect of the environment is the energy we use, the water we drink, the food we eat, the air we breathe, it's everything. And, of course, it's education. And so this Common Core is really their big part of education for the world. And inside Common Core curriculum, of course, is great respect shown for the United Nations, the Earth Charter, which is coming from the UN, and, of course, Sustainable Development, which is just another name for Agenda 21. And all of this is being promoted. If you Google Common Core Sustainable Development, Africa pops up. You'll find exactly the same curriculum, the same words. So this is really a global plan for education for every child, commonality around the world.
Orlean, incredible. It's really scary. Again, I highly recommend, if you're in town, Bakersfield, June 3rd. Hodel, 6 o'clock. Call 661-301-2396. Orlean, thank you very, very much, and Clay and I are looking forward to meeting you on the 3rd.
Thank you. Would you mind if I give the website for how to fight it in California?
Real quick, if you could.
Go to cuacc.org. That stands for Californians United Against Common Core. You'll see information, talking points, and a petition that you can start gathering signatures on.
Great. Thank you, Orlean.
Thank you.
We'll be back in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.